Hello dear viewers and welcome to another installment of MBHL on the Ball. As always, I'm your host, Matthew Flair Harwood. We're just a couple of weeks away from the start of the MBHL playoffs. That means that while some teams are comfortably in, or uneasily out of the playoff picture, others are in the thick of an intense battle for the remaining few available spots. Access to the big dance is not given. It's either earned through hard work, discipline, and sometimes luck. With that said, let's take a look at some of the great action that happened on March 26, 2012 at the Club West Island Arena. Our first matchup sees Gun Patrol taking on Vintage in C-League action. As the playoffs loom just around the corner, it'll be interesting to see who charges into the postseason with momentum and who simply limps in. Gun Patrol is on a rampage, having just convincingly beat the A-League's BC. Evan Gilman of Gun Patrol has been the story thus far, racking up an impressive scoring streak. He'll need to keep the hot hand if Gun Patrol wants to maintain their supremacy over other C-League teams. On the defensive front, Mark Guerrero has been a beast for Gun Patrol, contributing both offensively with 15 assists and defensively by shutting down some of the league's best players. Gun Patrol shows up ready to go every game, so it's unlikely that they'll take Vintage lightly. A good thing too, because Vintage is a top 3 team in the C-League. Comprised mainly of seasoned vets, this team plays smooth ball hockey with crisp passing and exceptional positioning. They don't give you many opportunities to score and play a solid two-way game. The two most dangerous players on Vintage are Matt Hart and Frank Dalphon. These guys just punish goalies with their scoring abilities. If Gun Patrol can't shut these two down, they'll be in for a long night. Vintage also has a star on the point in Troy Ryan. A perennial all-star, Troy brings poise to the defensive front and unbelievable offensive prowess to the four-way, and oftentimes quarterbacks their potent power play. The last time these two teams met, Vintage came out on top with a 3-1 win. The game represents one of only 2 Gun Patrol losses, so you can bet your last dollar that they'll be in looking for redemption. Early in the first period, Gun Patrol's Wade Taylor blows by 3 defenders but can't slide the ball past Justin Manasseh. Still in Vintage zone, Evan Gilman breaks in from the blue line and gets a good shot off on Manasseh. Chris Clement will finally break the ice on a 2-on-none with Gilman, swiping the ball in midair past a spun around Manasseh. After the goal, Clement celebrates with his own version of a hat trick. Gun Patrol would add to their lead 5 minutes later. Gunner Ship Strachorski picks up the ball at the blue line, runs it in, and snaps a shot blocker side. Clement and Mark Guerrero pick up assists on the goal. Moments later, Eyal Arti rings one off the post from the point. Back in Vintage zone, Scott D'Amico will take advantage of a bad exit by Manasseh to slide the ball into an empty net. It's now 3-0 Gun Patrol. Vintage would cut the lead to 3-1 early in the second. Gordy Hildebrand will finish a tic-tac-toe play, going 5-hole on Gun Patrol goalie Phil Mathieu. Norm Plouffe and Matt Bazinet with the assists. Gun Patrol would regain their 3-goal lead when Taylor picks up the loose ball and slides the ball between Manasseh's pads. It's 4-1 with 20 minutes left to play. Frank Dalphon gets a good chance up close on Mathieu, but the Gun Patrol netminder is there to make the save. Dalphon is back again moments later. This time he makes no mistake and beats Mathieu down low, falling Gordie Howe style. The lead is cut to 2. With 6 minutes remaining, Bazinet will cut the lead down even further when he picks up Artie's point shot and beats Mathieu from up close. Vintage would pressure and look for the equalizer, but it was too little too late, as Gun Patrol would take this one 4-3. With the victory, Gun Patrol clinches first place in the C-League with 18 points and 1 game left to play. The win also gives them 9 straight games with at least a point, going 7-0-2 during that span. Vintage drops to 2-3 in their last 5 games, and still sit idle in 3rd place overall in the conference with 2 games left to play. Next up, some top drawer A-League action between BC and VIPs. A little science question for you. What happens when you mix fire and ice? You get explosive entertainment! Well, that might not be the actual answer, but you get what I mean. BC and VIPs are at alternate ends of the spectrum in terms of their approach to ball hockey games. BC is a relentless attacker that thrives on a run-and-gun style of play, which suits them perfectly because they're a team blessed with tons of speed. This team entered the A-League ready to take on a challenge and are making a real statement for themselves this season. Their biggest issue has been consistency though, as they're currently riding a 3-game losing streak. This is a big game against a potential first-round opponent in the playoffs, so they need to show that they belong playing with the big boys. Julio Carrera has been the story for BC this year, as teams find his speed really difficult to contend with. He has tireless ball pursuit abilities, great hands, and plays solid defensively. VIPs continue to play great ball hockey. While they haven't been as dominant as one would expect coming into the season, they managed to keep their opponents' quality scoring chances down to a minimum, and they managed to find ways to open up the play offensively at appropriate times and capitalize on their chances. In their first meeting, VIPs romped BC 8-1, but their last encounter was a high-octane affair that ended in a 2-2 draw. BC will be looking to even out the season matchup, while VIPs will be looking to add to BC's current downswing and edge themselves closer to the #1 ranking in the A-League. BC gets the first real chance of the game on a 3-on-1, but VIP's backcheck combined with a bad pass makes for a missed opportunity. The boys in black are back on the attack moments later, but Pat Leclerc's slapper misses just wide over goalie James Eade. BC will miss another solid opportunity to open the scoring when Jay Sekiano's shot also misses the left side post. They would finally get on the scoreboard 8 minutes into the first. Vasil Nechev will get the ball in the slot and send a laser beam past Eade's blocker. Sekiano and Matt Butcher will get the assist. The same trio are back at it again 3 minutes later. This time, Nechev finds himself alone in front of the net and outweights VIP's goalie before going to his backhand to make it 2-0 BC. Jason Urquhart will get VIP's first scoring chance when he breaks in alone on Jason Leclerc, but the BC tender will turn him away. Urquhart will then hit the post, and Leclerc will ultimately lose his helmet trying to save the rebound, stopping the play. Now in the second, Dan Hill can't corral the rebound up close to beat the BC netminder, who covers up. Ryan Connaught then does some good work down low, but his shot hits the outside of the net. Moments later, Mike Hionis puts everything he's got in his shot, but once again, Leclerc makes the save. VIPs would finally get on the scoreboard 8 minutes into the second. Mike Yaramian will take the feed from Daniel Staten, spin, and beat Mathieu down low with a well-placed shot. Connaught will also get an assist. Jason Prince then finds himself on a breakaway. He tries to score on his backhand, but Eade follows him all the way. That save would prove to be huge. On the power play, Urquhart will get one final crack at Leclerc. This time, he beats the BC goalie with a howitzer from the top of the faceoff circle. We have a tie game. BC would look to regain the lead before the end of the game, but Eade would deny any chance of that. With the tie, VIPs failed to gain sufficient ground on their quest to take first in the A-League and stay in second, 2 points behind the league leading United, with 2 games left to play each, including one against each other on Thursday, April 5th. Each stays undefeated this season in 10 games, going 6-0-4. BC stays put in third with 10 points in 12 games. Leclerc fared well in nets, stopping 23 of the 25 shots he faced. Our third game of the night pits Han Candidates versus Papa Joe's. These two teams are neck and neck in the E-League standings, but couldn't be more different. The Han Candidates are one of the most exciting teams to watch in the league, and are fighting tooth and nail to overtake Hannifix as the top seed. These guys just don't stop running, and they spend the majority of the time in the game in the opponent's defensive zone, cycling the ball and generating scoring chance after scoring chance. Even if a team manages to get the ball, the Han Candidates are quickly on top of the situation. They just don't give the opponents control of the ball whatsoever. As a result, they have the lowest shots against in the whole league, averaging just about 11 shots per game. Papa Joe's, on the other hand, are all about their goaltender, Ryan Eisenberg. He has proven to be the backbone for this team, and their chances for success rely heavily on his shoulders. If he struggles, the team struggles. But when he's hot, Papa Joe's are a force to be reckoned with. Case in point, the first time these two teams met, Eisenberg stopped over 50 shots in their 3-2 win. He'll probably be just as busy this time around. Whether he'll be able to shut the door for a full 50 minutes will remain to be seen. We start off in the first. A bad giveaway at the Papa Joe's blue line leads to the Han Candidates' first chance, but goalie Ryan Eisenberg makes the pad save on Alex Gomez. In Han zone now, Papa Joe's try to get a few decent slap shots against goalie Brad Johns, but the Han players do a great job at blocking shots, not just once, but twice in this sequence. Matt Tabaronas later finds himself breaking in on Eisenberg, but the netminder will come up big again. Number 15 is back again moments later. This time, when his first pass fails to get in front of the net, He takes a bad angle shot that squeezes by Eisenberg. Danny Vivier will get an assist on the goal. Eisenberg is called again to the rescue soon after. He misses the poke check, but manages to get a piece of the ball with his pad. He then makes one of his 22 first period saves against Tavarones. Joes would finally get a shot through to Johns when Joey Diaz takes his shot from the top of the face-off circle. Joes would only get 4 shots in the first. Anytime they got close to Johns, the Han D would be there to send him away. More of the same in the second. Cezanne Alborzi breaks out of the sideboards, makes his way into the slot, but once again, the Joes goalie is solid in his net. With 11 minutes left in the game, Eisenberg will lose control of the Sean Connolly shot, and Tavarones would easily tap in his second of the game. It's 2-0 Han candidates. Eisenberg would definitely love to see that one again. One of the only bright spots for Papa Joe's in this game is the play of Eisenberg, making key saves to keep his team in the game, even when he's flat on the ground. The Han offense is just too much for the Joes to handle. Alborzi overloads a Joes defender to come in on a 2-on-1 with Nick McIntyre, who finishes off the play going 5-hole on Eisenberg. Papa Joe's would try to capitalize on the few chances they had all game, but Johns wouldn't flinch. The Han candidates would take this one 3-0. The win keeps the Han candidates in the running for the #1 spot in the E-League. They sit in second with 18 points, 1 point behind first place Hannifix, who tied Roboballs on Tuesday. The Han candidates have 2 games remaining, compared to Hannifix 1. Papa Joe's managed to muster only 7 shots against Johns, who recorded the shutout. With the loss, Papa Joe's still sit comfortably in third, 4 points ahead of 4th place Rapid Fire, with 1 game remaining apiece. Our final game comes from the C-League and puts IHAS Ball Hockey up against Down to Puck. This game has a great chance of being the game of the night. So much is riding on this game. IHAS is battling for a playoff spot in a ridiculously tight C-League. 1 point could literally make the difference between a playoff berth or the shocking case where the past E-League champions find themselves out of the hunt. But this team knows what it takes to win critical games while under pressure, and I have no doubt that they'll give exactly everything they got against Down to Puck. Down to Puck has emerged as one of the top teams in C, beating out some very good teams along the way. The biggest question mark surrounding DTP will be their discipline. These guys aren't strangers to the Sin Bin Cafe, and they'll need to curtail their energy into more productive outputs, or special teams who capitalize on their power play lattes will afford them an early exit come playoff time. While it's a double-edged sword, their intensity is the main reason for their success thus far this season, and I don't expect them to let up this close to the playoffs. With so much on the line for both teams, this game is sure to be a torrid affair, made even more due so to the personal vendettas underlying in this matchup. Brothers face off against one another, and pride is literally on the line, as are playoff dreams. We find ourselves in Down to Puck territory. Chris Gagnon intercepts a clearing attempt and takes a good shot that is cleared away by Brad Johns, who's doing double duty. IHAS continuing to put the pressure. Corey Steger finds himself alone in front of the net, but can't bury the ball past Johns. Brody Armstrong gets Down to Puck's first good chance, but his slap shot goes wide on Matt McKinnon. Steger will break the 0-0 tie on a breakaway. He easily steps around John's poke check, which leaves him a wide open net to score in. John Riggs and Trevor Davies get the assists. Down to Puck would restore the tie 4 minutes later. Griffin Burke will do a good job of holding the ball before dishing it out to Trevor Gagne in the slot, who makes no mistake beating McKinnon glove side. Adam Struma will also get an assist on the goal. DTP would then take the lead when Struma and Berg do a nice give and go, leaving Struma to beat the netminder glove side with a backhand. Now in the second, with IHAS on the power play, Gagnon will collect the ball that manages to squeak through the mess in front of the net and beat Johns with a quick spin shot. Davies and Steger will get the assists. IHAS would then take their second lead of the game a minute and a half later. Mike Brown will beat his defender with speed before beating the Down to Puck tender on his backhand. It's 3-2 IHAS. That lead would last 10 minutes. With DTP on a power play of their own, Sean Spruill's shot will get stopped, but Dimitri Lapis will tap in the rebound up close to tie it 3-3. Alex Brown will look to give the lead back to IHAS, but this time John's poke check is successful. That save would prove to be important because with 3 minutes left, Burke will find himself alone in front of the net and score the power play goal that would end up being the difference maker. Down to Puck would take this wild one, 4-3. The Down to Puck win combined with the vintage loss allows Down to Puck to jump into second place in the C League. Both Adam Strumas and Griffin Burke finished with 1 goal and 2 assists, while Brad Johns led in 3 goals on 25 shots. IHA's ball hockey stays in the playoff picture in 6th place, 1 point ahead of 7th place leftovers, who have 1 game more to play than IHA. Corey Steger and Trevor Davies each have 17 points this season and sit respectively 6 and 7 in the overall scoring race. It's now time for the highlight of the night. And for that, we go back to a goal we just saw moments ago. Corey Steger, coming down on a breakaway, steps around Brad Johns and stuffs it in the back of the net. Here are your updated standings and scoring leaders for every league as of April 1st, 2012. Well, that's the end of another great show here at On the Ball. In some leagues, despite the fact that it's the last week before the playoffs, the postseason picture stayed as tight as ever, leading into most teams' final games. Those games will decide whether or not they take part in the quest for the championship. As always, don't forget to like us on Facebook and comment on our videos. Also, for all you tweeps out there, follow me on Twitter for some On the Ball news. That's it for now. For MBHL On the Ball, I'm Matthew Harewood, signing off. Take care now.